You know, it's honestly crazy how completely infatuated the entire gaming industry has become with two simple letters: AI. We've been seeing the absolute worst of the worst creep its way into the gaming industry because of it. We've been watching as people go around and find old AI artwork that was being used as placeholders in video games, and then lambasting those developers for using AI placeholder artwork, even though they were removing it later on once it was shown or discovered. We also have game journalists, which I'll use the term incredibly loosely, trying to throw other game developers under the bus, even though those developers have been very open about how they develop their games, like Larian Studios, all at the meanwhile using AI for mood boards or even being able to communicate with artists and story writers, you know, the proper way to use an actual tool. But it doesn't just stop there, though. It turns out that AI is also infesting into everything in terms of technology, whether it's the actual RAM crisis, CPU crisis, the actual SSD NAND storage crisis, and dare I even going so far as to say having the issue with the copper in your AIO cooler or even CPU cooler being difficult to find as well. That one, I wish I was kidding on. But the thing is, though, all of this is going to come together today because we have two specific examples pointing out how to use AI and how to not use AI, especially in your games. The problem is, though, is that the gaming industry and even the tech industry is going to have a lot worse coming to it. Because according to WCCF Tech, Samsung is poised to surpass Nvidia and become the most profitable company globally, thanks to strong memory sales and an exclusive Apple contract. That's right, Nvidia, move over. Your company is next to nothing compared to Samsung, one of the big three RAM racketeers on the actual planet, next to Micron and SK Hynix. Samsung is the RAM that everybody is trying to go after. And if you think I'm kidding, don't forget there was actual Chinese espionage action happening in terms of Samsung while people were smuggling out ways of creating that actual RAM themselves. That was a fun one. But I think what we're seeing right now is this massive amounts of companies doubling and tripling down on AI, and even Nvidia is doing it themselves. The thing is, though, AI is not going to be going anywhere, especially in video games, not only in terms of hardware, but apparently in software as well. When we saw the actual announcement of Nvidia's DLSS 5, things did not go well at all. In fact, it got so bad that an entire Italian news organization was told by YouTube that they owned the rights to Nvidia's own video about DLSS 5 and took the actual video down. That's crazy. But the problem isn't what happened with that news outlet or the fact that Nvidia did not have a good showing with DLSS 5. The big problem is the fact that Nvidia themselves are pushing AI into basically everything, selling you a GPU that will only make AI-generated frames, and that's exactly what they're trying to do. The problem is the backlash that Nvidia received is exactly what they were not expecting. Because according to PC Gamer, 71% of you say that you could never be convinced to turn on DLSS 5, with 37% saying it wouldn't matter how good it looked. I'm gonna have to be in that entire section of the 71% because I basically stopped buying Nvidia products during the 40 series release cards, so that's just me. The thing is, though, a lot of the users are in fact correct, and Nvidia turns out to be wrong. Nobody is really angry or upset that DLSS is upscaling games. That really isn't an issue. That's a good use of AI in general, giving brand new life to older hardware to run those games at a better frame rate, even if the internal resolution is lower than what we would actually play it at. The problem, though, is how Nvidia has been circumventing and siphoning off that technology between other graphics cards, forcing you to buy a new GPU to get the newest version of DLSS in the first place. Basically completely removing the entire reason of why DLSS should be there at all. And to make matters even worse, game developers now using the upscaling technology that AI has given them to go ahead and have games be less optimized and perform worse overall, have terrible frame rates, terrible frame pacing, working, and even then not perform at the standard of somebody who purchased a 2,000 to 3,000 GPU either, completely pushing everything into this forced category where Nvidia wants everything to be. To make matters even worse, things got even crazier when Nvidia now introduced 6 generated fake frames in between every one real frame. It was bad enough when it was 2 or 3 and you saw things break down. Now adding 6 fake generated frames in between every other actual rasterized one isn't exactly what people in fact want in their games, and provides input latency and makes things look objectively worse. Now DLSS 5 went into the entire idea of adding a really horrible Instagram filter, as it took a 2D image of your game and then slathered everything on top of it, which made everything look like absolute shit. No matter how much they paid Digital Foundry, everybody basically knew with their own eyes this isn't the way to go. But there's more to the article, so let's check it out. With the article from PC Gamer saying this: "I'm not surprised that the majority of readers said they would never use the technology, with a full 71% of answers to the poll responding they could not be convinced to turn the feature on. But I have to say that I'm a little surprised that out of those polled, 37%, the largest percentage of responses, said it wouldn't matter how good the feature looked. They were ethically opposed to it and would never enable it." Finally, we have 10% saying they would happily enable it if the games looked better than the very AI gen look they have in the first promo material, which is a fair enough assessment, given that we're talking about a single model extrapolating all the context for a frame from a single static 2D image and some motion vectors. There's a real chance that if Nvidia and the devs aren't careful, an uncomfortable level of homogeneity would be our future. And this is exactly why I'm bringing this topic up today. The fact that Nvidia is forcing AI into basically every single aspect, not as a tool to make things better, but just a way to validate the fact that they're spending all this money when people clearly don't want it, especially from what we've seen from the YouTube videos and even from these specific articles by PC Gamer and so many other places as well. AI isn't a bad tool. It can be actually beneficial, like we see with DLSS in the first place, especially the first 3 or 4 iterations. Not counting frame gen though, nobody wants that. No sane person actually wants that, let's be real. But I really think that's the actual problem. Too many corporations, too many companies think AI is this massive buzzword that's going to fix all of their problems, let them fire all their employees, and then go ahead and let them rake in all the money that they can back by going ahead and selling you a bunch of slop altogether. And people are sick of it. They're tired of everything increasing in price, they're tired of getting screwed over, and they're also tired of not getting the kind of service that they actually want in the back end. Nvidia's approach to AI is exactly the wrong approach, and to what people in fact don't want AI to do. It's supposed to be a helpful tool, not something to control and do everything for me either. And this is where we see the yin and yang of the gaming industry. We see Nvidia use AI in the worst possible outcome, yet here comes Valve making their own large language model. No, I'm not kidding. According to Windows Central, is Valve prepping an in-house AI agent to help with Steam support and anti-cheat duties? Here's what we know based on certain data mining efforts, and why it could go either really well or really poorly. And this is where things are going to get incredibly fun and even exciting. What you're looking at is Valve going ahead and cornering the one place where they've had, honestly, the biggest weakness. And I know all the memes have been out there saying Steam support found the hacker and got your account back, and then things really bad happened to the hacker. But the thing is, Steam support is, of course, incredibly limited. Think about it from this perspective. Valve only has around 350 employees. No, I didn't stutter. That entire company is only 350 employees. And to make matters even crazier, here are the breakdowns of their entire departments. For game development, you're looking at 180 to 200 employees. For the platform of Steam itself, 79 employees. For hardware, 41. At administrative work, 35 to 40. What you're looking at is a 300-person company that is taking care of over 160 million Steam accounts all at once. And at any given time, over 49 million monthly active users on the platform doing anything at any given time at that specific moment. And that is incredibly insane when you think about the scale of what this company does, the kind of service they provide, and even what they do for so many gamers on the PC platform. And the thing is, Gabe Newell isn't shy about usage of AI either. Check this out. Back in July of last year, PC Gamer says this: Gabe Newell thinks AI tools will result in a funny situation where people who don't know how to program become more effective developers of value than those who've been at it for a decade. And a few days later, also in PC Gamer, Gabe Newell says AI is a significant technology transition on a par with the emergence of computers or the internet, and will be a cheat code for people who want to take advantage of it. So right off the bat, you can clearly see that Gabe Newell does want to have AI being implemented in basically everything, and it will make people more efficient and effective. The problem, though, is how AI is being implemented into businesses and everything else, and how it's impacting the entire gaming industry. It's also impacting the Steam machine as well, seeing as how the last time they went to GDC this past year, they were basically asking people in the audience if anybody had extra RAM to give them for their actual launch of the Steam machine later on this year. And even also because of AI, they had to delay the pricing release as well. So things aren't perfectly rosy. The difference, though, is this: the way Valve will more than likely implement its AI into customer service is going to be vastly different and helpful to their actual users, and also to their staff members. Rather than cutting out and removing jobs, it's going to make their actual employees far more effective. Even though Steam support, from my personal experience, has been absolutely bar fucking none, the best I've ever had, it has taken a couple of days to get back and forth any sort of correspondence. And that's really the only negative thing I've had. I ordered the Steam Deck OLED a few months back, and I picked one up. The thing is, though, the first time I ordered it, it was stuck at a FedEx department and basically was just a stolen package. Valve said nothing for a couple of days, emailed me back and said, "You know what, brother? Don't worry. We got another one coming your way, priority mail." Didn't even ask for anything else, just did the damn thing. And that is incredibly cool, and why Valve continues to earn the good trust of so many consumers in the PC gaming space. Now I got my Steam Deck OLED and everything is all perfectly gravy. But there's more, though. So let's check out the article by Windows Central and go from there. With the article saying this: Valve, the parent company of PC gaming juggernaut Steam, has mostly played it safe so far in the age of AI. That seems to be slowly changing, at least if this rumor pans out. Ex-user and reliable Steam info source at Gabe Follower, a nod to Valve creator Gabe Newell, has shared findings from a data mining effort pulled from a recent Steam update. Inside are references to something called Steam GPT, which seems to be related to Steam support and Counter-Strike 2's anti-cheat. With Gabe Follower on Twitter saying this: it seems that Valve is working on a Steam GPT feature that will apparently deal with Steam support issues and is somehow connected to Trust Score and CS2 anti-cheat. So apparently, because of this set of strings, we may in fact be finally getting a somewhat decent anti-cheat for Counter-Strike 2. Literally, as someone who has over 1,000 hours in CSGO and CS2, yeah, that would be great to have a better anti-cheat, but I'm also concerned about the possibility of it making a ton of mistakes. Even so, the possibility of it making mistakes with actual users and customer service. I think the scarier part about this entire model isn't what's going to be happening with AI at all. It's going to be whether or not there is actual human supervision going over what the AI is in fact saying to its users, or if the actual bans that happen in Counter-Strike 2 are occurred after a human review, making sure that the machine isn't making any mistakes whatsoever. With Valve being an incredibly small company compared to so many others, I could be seeing them using it as a tool to not only get back to you quickly for support tickets and saying, hey, we're We're still looking into the matter. We'll be updating you soon. Steam GPT or anything like that. At least keeping a ticket open and Fluctuator not being left out in the cold for a couple of days until an actual person comes back and assists you with that. Or if they're going to ban anybody, just to make sure at least a person reviews what's going on and not let the robot just pick and choose, especially if somebody has a spin hack, just one-tapping everybody across the map. Really not fun. Steam GPT, of course, is reminiscent of ChatGPT, the AI large language model and Microsoft's partner that kicked off the AI wave in which we're currently living. Assuming that Steam GPT does indeed have something to do with AI, it appears Valve may begin implementing it to help process support requests. Injecting AI into the process would likely speed up some support aspects, but it could also go horribly wrong. There's plenty of evidence showing that letting AI handle customer service would likely be a nightmare. And you know what? People are in fact still actually upset. I'm more hesitant on the matter, not because I love Valve and that my entire new nickname has now become Steamcast Guy. Thanks a lot, everybody. I appreciate the humor, by the way. You guys are the worst and the best. I love you guys. But merely the fact that a lot of people do not want Valve to make any sort of massive mistake that could put them in a situation where the customer service could falter, or where anti-cheat gets too aggressive, or when people begin to manipulate the actual AI in their support ticket system as well. In fact, here are some of the responses to Gabe Follower's own tweet. With Dave G. Town saying this: people are about to start social engineering AI support to get access to other people's accounts. With Exerpass CS saying, let them cook, it's only getting better and better each day. And ggbit.com saying, Valve really said, fine, we'll let AI deal with your support tickets now. If this actually works with trust factor and anti-cheat, that could either be a huge upgrade or absolute chaos. And GGBit's tweet is exactly why I made this video today. We have been seeing the well being poisoned with AI for so long, even in the past 2.5 years or so, and watching every other major company fire tons of employees and then replace them with AI to go ahead and have a worse experience but yet charge you more really makes no sense whatsoever. And then have companies like Nvidia create the entire crisis we're dealing with, and at the same time try to force AI into every single product, but not doing it in a good way. And I think that's exactly why people are actually having reservations about this. I really feel like Valve would be the only company that I would actually look at and say, you know what? I want to see what they do with it. I want to see how they implement it, and I want to see what kind of tools they use for AI. Is it going to just make their actual support team better at responding to people or getting more stuff done? Or will they use it to just replace them, which is my entire worry about the whole thing. If Valve does the right thing and Steam GPT is used as an actual enhancer for the support ticket employees and also for anti-cheat, that would be a huge win overall and really make a smaller company far more flexible and efficient in getting more things done. Remember, 350 employees, 160 million users. That ratio is out of control. So any benefit they can do to make things easier for them, I'm sure Valve will definitely take a look at and move into. But it's going to be interesting how they implement it and what actually happens over time. And even if Steam GPT gets also added into something like Steam OS or even the Steam Machine, that would be wild to see as well. And I could definitely see them doing something like that in the future. But hopefully, though, Steam can be the one company that people can look at and say, that's how you do AI, that's how you do customer service, and that is how you provide a better experience for your users and place them first. Unlike companies like Nvidia that expect you to give them your money while shoving AI slop in your face and then literally blaming you for it. You couldn't pick two more companies to be completely diametrically opposed than Nvidia and Steam. But you know what? I want to hear what you guys got to say about this in the comments section down below. Do you think Valve can actually implement Steam GPT correctly? Do you think Nvidia has been getting a wake-up call about what they've been doing? Or do you think all of this will in fact fall apart? I want to hear what you got to say. And speaking about what you got to say, here in fact is the comment of the day from yesterday's video. with DKG520 saying this: I have a 22-year Steam badge and over 1,000 games. Not one of them is a PlayStation game. Brother, to have a 22-year-old badge? Jesus, mine's 15 years old. Oh. 15 years. 15 years. I can feel the bones in my body begin to turn to dust. And my knees just clicked. Yeah, I'm done. I'm going to go take a nap. I'll see you guys later. Whoa! But you know what, though? If you want to see more of this kind of content, more PC port reviews, gaming news, Steam Deck videos, fanboy content, and hot takes in the gaming industry, subscribe to the channel. If you want Discord access or emotes during live streams, just become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. Look, if you don't want to spend the buck, don't sweat it. Just come on down to the live streams every Saturday night, 8:45 p.m. Eastern. The community is amazing, and they all insult me with TTS for about 5.5 hours. It's an actual insane show. Saturday nights, live, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, right here on the channel. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Oh, just in case you're not aware, I also have a second channel on top of it. It's called Oh No, It's Alex Gaming. If I ever decide to go full time, I'll be doing daily live streams there, hanging out, playing games. And every Monday, I upload a brand new video game essay about something happening in the gaming industry, usually about a game that I really enjoy or a game that I just played and beat. The link to the channel is in the description down below. With all that being said, though, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you gooners next time. Peace!